PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi folks, this is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator. Very easy to follow, step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. That's www.silverlungs.com. A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica, the number 3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com.
I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Thomas Jefferson. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Well, I will certainly second what Thomas Jefferson had to say. What about you? Or do you agree with FEMA and the police training manuals that demonize George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and call them terrorists? And they tell the police we're fighting modern-day terrorists, these people that won't compromise on the Constitution and Bill of Rights. And you see all the Time magazines and Newsweek articles everywhere. It's time to get rid of the Constitution. It caused the problems. And now I'm actually hearing that parroted by trendies. Oh, the Constitution's old. We need something new. No, the Constitution's new in history. What the establishment is trying to bring back is classical tyranny, monopoly, groups of ultra-powerful enslaving people. That's the old system. The Republic, the light of the world, the example of freedom. I'm getting chills. That's 1776. Have you actually read the founders' quotes, their letters, their debates, their statements? Have you studied politics? Do you know how to read U.S. code? Have you studied court cases? I have. And I've interviewed hundreds of top legal scholars, and they all agree it is a beautiful document, and that's why it's under assault. We're in trouble because we've allowed it to be overturned. No one debates that the Constitution has pretty much been overturned. And then now that they've overturned it, they're blaming the blight that's on our republic, the tyranny that's here on the Constitution. That'd be like if you fired an employee and 2 years later, somebody was let the sink overflow, left the sink on, and you blame Bob, who you fired 2 years ago. All right. I'm going to shut up and get into the news here. Okay, so I already mentioned this stuff. FBI arrests 16 in anonymous hacker crackdown. We're going to get into that. 20 signs that the fabric of American society is coming apart at the seams. I'm going to get to that. Peer pressure causes people to literally alter their memories of recent events. This shows why a lot of people are like in a trance and they'll buy whatever ridiculous story they're told. But there's a breaking point. As the system gets more and more corrupt, as it gets more and more out in the open, as their cover stories get more and more ridiculous, you're going to have those that will buy anything they're told, get deeper into delusion, and you're going to have others who kind of wake up from their delusion and become more and more awake as things get more obvious. Things are not going well for the social engineers. We've also got the death panels. We're going to be breaking that down. They're here. And all the, quote, trendies denied the death panels existed, made jokes about it. You know, Stephen Colbert made jokes about it. Well, it's all in there, and they admit, case for killing Granny. Cover of Newsweek. Hey, you know, Ted Turner says, kill old people. You know, get rid of them. We've got Bill Gates coming out saying, hey, death panels are good. I mean, I can play the clip of him. These people aren't playing games. They always, oh, there's no Bilderberg group. Well, yeah, they're meeting right there. Here's their own documents. Shut up, doesn't exist. They play a Jedi mind trick on you. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Move along. And then you buy into it because of the peer pressure. And they've got a big study out on this. A big study. I've seen countless others. There's a new big study out where if a barn door is red, but you're in a sports stadium and the authority figure in the top hat says the barn door is blue, the majority of people will see it as the color he says. Doesn't matter the barn door is really red. It's like if you're watching on prisonplanet.tv. The TV slide behind me says Infowars.com in red. But if I was in a sports stadium of people and I was the authority figure and people saw me as the authority figure, if I said, that's blue, and especially if I had a group of experts up there with me who said, yes, it's blue, the majority of people would actually see it as blue. But again, that's coming up. This is the mind control. That's why the cops say, yeah, she's hanging with her feet and legs, arms and legs bound, dead. We don't see anything, any signs of foul play here. We're not even going to do an investigation when they're supposed to, regardless. You know, they go to an 85-year-old man's house who looks like he's died of a heart attack. They've got to do an investigation. But they just tell you, hey, you know, this isn't a murder. Move along. Move along. It's time to break that trance. They're intentionally trying to get you deeper into that trance right now. Okay, here's the other big news I'll be breaking down. UN Security Council to consider climate change peacekeeping. I'm going to break down what's behind that. Carbon price battle is lost, experts say, Brisbane Times. Really good news. In Ireland, in Australia, in many areas, no matter how much they propagandize, the public know it is a scam. Then they ran a hoax the other day saying that Lord Monckton is not a lord, even though he's an hereditary lord and peer of the crown on record. Not that it even matters. They tried to say, well, he's officially not a voting member of the House of Lords. Well, yeah, because they just voted to get rid of that, and now they've created political lords who are the new royalty and have voting power. But he's a hereditary lord. It's like saying Queen Elizabeth isn't the Queen of England. So there's this big, oh, that guy's a fake pretender to royalty, to being a peer. And then it turns out it's all a hoax, and his passport says he's a lord, and everybody knows he's a lord, and going back generations. And this is how they do it. So it's totally imploding in Australia. So while he's there, they run this hoax that he's a fake, because tens of thousands are coming out to hear him speak now instead of just thousands. And so they're panicking. So they run the hoax. He's not a lord. He's a fake. He's a fraud, when they're the frauds. So carbon price battle is lost. Political experts believe the battle to sell carbon tax to the Australian public has been lost, and the Prime Minister can do nothing to change voters' minds on the issue. And it goes through all the numbers on that. 61% do not believe any of it. Continuing, more on CERN scientists gagged on politically incorrect global warming data. Oh, guess what their study found with the particles, mimicking the sun's particles? It's the sun not just heating the Earth, but creating the nuclei to form water vapor that forms clouds and then condensation. Wow, man, I needed CERN that cost $50-something billion to tell me that. Okay, all righty. And then they gag them. Oh, the scientists found the sun's what runs our climate more than anything else. Wow, let's gag them. Do I need scientists to tell me that fish swim, that the sky's blue, that Al Gore is a man-bear pig? I mean, do I need to even research Al Gore, which I've done, to just look at him and go, alert, danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, danger. That's a big fat con man. I love that clip we've got in Fall of the Republic. I don't love it. I kind of cry, but, in a laughing gallows humor way. where he's on Larry King Live with his smug, fake attitude, obviously lying. And Ross Perot's going, listen, Larry, within a decade, if we put NAFTA into place, it will destroy the wages. Okay, Canada had $5 an hour average more than us. But those jobs all went to the United States under a trade deal. Well, Mexico, their average pay is $1 an hour or lower. You will hear a giant sucking sound. It will destroy the middle class and what's left of our industrial base, Larry. And Al Gore, you can just tell Ross Perot was straight shooting, total body language, plus the facts were true. You got to judge both. Al Gore's with this you-know-what-eating grins like, laughing at Perot. Listen, Larry, this study I have here shows it's going to double jobs in just 2 years. This is a good deal, Larry. Yeah, and women hanging with their arms and legs bound from front porches dead. There's no sign of foul play, and everything's wonderful. And, oh, my gosh, the sun doesn't affect the climate. Okay, shut up, Alex. Get to the news. It's like Dr. Strangelove, where he can't control himself. Okay, I wanted to mention this because there's all these big news articles about how evil it is to have more than 2 children. Some are saying even 1 is bad. And my wife said people at Whole Foods march up to her and obviously jealous that, they waited to have kids till too late. Generally, it's always an archetype, and mad that my wife has these incredibly beautiful, wonderful, vibrant children that aren't brain damaged from vaccines. And they'll say, you've got too many kids. Of course, I'm glad they've done that with me, because I'd say, get out of my face, you witch. I mean, literally. Get away from my children, scumbag. But I did a video titled Death-Loving Media Attacks Children. And I got into some examples of this. And I saw a comment, well, a bunch of them actually, by P. Marie, 2003, 39 minutes ago. But she's P. Marie, 2003. And she's agreeing with another individual, Kevin Morias, and it says, that's that handle, it says, exactly, what is wrong with eugenics? Eugenics is what brought Alex the wonderful food he had for lunch. It gives us premium Egyptian cotton, dogs that can detect trapped victims, huge horses that pull plows for Amish, thornless blackberry plants. I'd like to propose we spay, neuter anyone on the left side of the IQ bell curve. Wouldn't that help? It sure can't hurt. And I could talk for an hour, but I'm not, just about that mindset and that attitude. These are people who are wannabe elitist. And what they don't understand is the globalists are targeting them as well. If you actually study the eugenics war, they're putting bisphenol A in their products. They're putting sodium fluoride in their water. They're putting cancer viruses in their vaccines. Every major GMO crop has the side effect, and it turns out, we've talked to industry insiders, that's the real effect. You're told, oh, it's so the tomato lasts longer, but it's also had a system flipped in it to create enzymes that reduce fertility, autoimmune disorders, you name it. I mean, we're talking in every major study, within 3 to 5 generations, the rats, the guinea pigs, are deformed and can't have babies, can't procreate. And you see the wages of this, doubling in cancer the last decade, doubling in diabetes. I mean, pull those numbers up. Just type in diabetes doubles in last decade. Here, let's put it on screen for them, not just from last week. Then I found an article from 10 years ago where it doubled from that. 200% increase in 20 years. How many medical doctors I have to get on this show for you to talk about how 50 years ago, if there was a child with cancer, they would fly medical students across the country to see them. It was like seeing Elephant Man or something. It was like seeing a seventh wonder of the world. Now, there's kids, I mean, you go to the mall, there's kids with their chemo injectors on their arms, bald-headed, and you know they're just sucking the money out of the family before they put them in the grave. There it is, diabetes rate doubles worldwide. And what source is that from? Scroll up the top for me, please. I remember, source, of course, was that's Fox News. But again, we don't just believe Fox News. What was the study? And it was a worldwide study. Let's scroll down a little bit. That was June 27th. The number of adults suffering from type 2 diabetes has more than doubled across the globe. And it goes on, the research has found rates of type 2 diabetes, which is the lifestyle factors linked to obesity, increased and remain the same in this part of the world with 347 million people currently affected. And it goes on to break that down. That's even different numbers than I saw. Okay, because the reports I saw said doubled in the last 10 years. Okay, now, let me just continue with the rest of some of the news I've got here. Well, no, back to this eugenics. So, they just make this statement about let's